Hey Peaches, I'm Eleanor and welcome to Peaches by Starlight Tarot. This is your weekly pick a card reading as it pertains to love and relationships. I'm using the Kawaii Tarot and the Hedgewitch Botanical Oracle. Stack 1 is the Skunk, Stack 2 is the Fish, Stack 3 is the Badger. They're timestamped below so you can skip ahead. If after each reading I'm using Affirmators, Love and Relationships to do a pick a card, 3 cards after each reading. This is for the general collective, so there might be only bits and pieces of it that resonate with you. If you'd like a reading all to yourself with only your energy, my Etsy page is linked below, and I have all my decks listed so you can choose the decks that resonate with you, that you want to choose however many cards you want to get messages from, and then I deliver that in an email and interpret your cards. So if you hear something today that really helps you or puts a different perspective on something, let me know by giving me a thumbs up. If you want to keep up with me every Saturday, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and let's get started. All right, if you chose Stack 1 or chose the Skunk, your theme of the week, supporting energy is Clover, Nurture. Okay, you have Death, Ace of Cups reversed, and the Nine of Cups reversed. All right, let's see. What does this mean? What it feels like coming off of this is that feeling of, have you ever been really into a book? It's like the best book ever. And you get to the end of it, there's no more pages left, you close it, and it's that kind of like, what now? Like, you have other books to read, but you can't quite get yourself motivated to open any of them because you're still very much into this story. But there's no more to read of it. Also, with the reverse Nine of Cups, there's a sense of having gotten a wish granted and having had it fall short of expectations. It's like it didn't complete your life in the way that you thought it would. You thought it would be the 10, but it just isn't, because it filled a void rather than actually healed something. And that never will have that same, it'll never, there's nothing you could wish for to come in that's going to replace healing from within. And I think sometimes we have to get our wish granted to believe that. And I feel like that's what's happened. And that's something to be grateful for. There's been a lot of times where I've learned a lesson by getting what I wanted. And it's like, I'm glad I got to learn that way. Because if I had never gotten what I wanted, I would have never believed it. It's like, go ahead and let me learn the hard way. Yeah. There's just an overall sense of sub-fulfillment here. And I feel like some of you got what you wanted and it didn't meet expectations. I feel like some of you got what you wanted and are facing the way life kind of continues with new intentions, like this what now type energy, because you spent so much time wanting it and now you have it and it's now like to not be in that state of longing is almost disorienting. Some of you may have lost touch with what it felt like to want what it is that you have before you had it. Do you remember that time before you had what you have now? Do you remember how long it felt and how long it felt drawn out? With the Clover, I feel like the answer lies in service. Death in this reading feels like a transition from self-care for self-care's sake to self-care in the service of others. And I am getting that because of what is meant all in this this Clover, Nurture, supporting energy. Filling your cup so that you can bring its healing powers to others. Some of you may be in a relationship that feels like the new and shiny is wearing off and you need a renewed sense of purpose, or you've gone through a breakup and feel a little bit lost without this person to put your focus on. There's just a little bit of adriftness. And that may be why, the thing about the Clover, traditionally, it's got these 3 leaves. That's the trefoil or the Trinity. Those 3 leaves imagery is coming up because that missing ingredient, that third ingredient, is purpose outside of your relationship. So nurturing yourself nurtures the relationship because you are, in fact, half of it, right? So part of that is connecting to your contribution to the bigger picture. That is every bit of part of self-care as a bubble bath. Okay. There was something more I wanted to say there, but I forget it now, so there must be a reason. Go ahead and set your intention for whether you feel like card 1, 2, or 3. We'll have a message for you. And let me tune in. Okay, card 1. Vulnerability. I allow myself to talk about my feelings without fear of external judgment or internal drama. When I express my feelings, a couple of funny things happen. I feel like a kindergartner. Everything gets lighter, easier, and filled with the comforting glow of honesty. Hey, no wonder kindergartners seem so fun and stress-free. Card 2. Cleansing. Feeling bogged down by the weight of 1,000 thoughts, feelings, boxes of mystery objects lurking in your closets? Consider this a prescription to clean house. Mentally, physically, literally, figuratively, and anything else that applies and verbally. It's hard to make room for new connections and experiences with every bit of your emotional space is cluttered with psychic bric-a-brac. So enjoy a major guilt-free flush out. And do not worry. That's all about this right here. Out with the old to make room for the new. So enjoy a major guilt-free flush out, and do not worry, you can always find new psychic bric-a-brac in the metaphorical clutter section of Craigslist. So I feel like that's throwing out old ideas of you and another being the ultimate. It's like, maybe that's what I wanted to say earlier, is like that 9 of Cups, this wish granted, like the ultimate in happiness is that partner, is that other person. And then it's getting it and realizing there's something else. There's that third thing, that third part of the Trinity, which is your connection to the whole. Card 3. Thoughtfulness. It's time to put your money where your mouth is and have fun showing your love. All right, so here. Nurturing and service, right? Think of all the little things you can do to show a person you love them. Then stop thinking of those things and actually do them. It is time to hide a note in someone's pocket, make them a snack, order them a book. Anything thoughtful can be an act of love, even taking the trash out to the dumpster. Unless you're dating the trash, in which case, don't take it to the dumpster, take it somewhere fancy. Wow, who would have thought that being so full of thoughts could be considered thoughtful? All right, guys, like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff, and I'll talk to you next Saturday. Thank you. All right, if you chose stack 2 or chose the fish, your supporting energy this week is burdock, tenacity. You have the 10 of Cups in reverse, the Fool, and the Queen of Swords. All right. So I'm getting the impression that you have been on a certain trajectory for a long time, and like the 10 is the beginning of is the end of a cycle, but it being reversed, there's kind of like towards the end and then like not quite, like at the last, it's something is changing at the end. It's like something being cut short. And with the Fool, you do find yourself starting over. And I feel like being next to this 10, there's a sense to where you might be starting over at a time of your life where you expected to be finishing up. You expected to be settling down. You expected to be done now. You expected your adventures to be over. But not so. It's like your best years are, there's a sense of feeling like maybe your most exciting and most adventures and best years were behind you, and now it's kind of like the park it in your rocker and cover up with your Afghan, and everything should be simple now, like happily ever after in a kind of, I don't know. But so I'm feeling like you weren't expecting to be starting a journey into the unknown at this stage in your life. I feel like you're coming into this reading having experienced some kind of loss. I'm feeling like for some of you, this may be particularly profound. A divorce, a death, someone going to jail. I want to express my empathy and my understanding that this is, I try to make them lighthearted, but this does feel like there's a lot of sorrow involved in this, so I understand that, and I empathize, and much love and healing to you and all that. I'm not good with words sometimes. But here you are facing an entirely new vista. Some of the terrain will be difficult, unfamiliar, beautiful, challenging, joyful, roller coaster. With the Fool, anything could happen, okay? That is why you have tenacity coming in as your overarching, supporting energy. You will need to pack your stick-to-itiveness, your perseverance, determination, persistence. The burdock is here representing tenacity because it has burrs that are kind of little stickers that are difficult to get out of your clothes or your socks or whatever, and also it has an ability to thrive in challenging terrain. And so that feels a little bit heavy coming out of my mouth, but you have the energy for this because you have known happiness, you have known love, you have known the joy of the journey and the destination. It's almost exciting, I feel like, with this Fool, to get a second chance, to have one more life, to have one more go around, to have one more story to write, to get to be one more person in this life, an opportunity to love more, to gather more. And you do so, you get that energy, and you can tap into this tenacity by being this Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords, you cling to your truth like a burdock burr. You will cling to your integrity like a burdock burr. Don't give up, and you will come full circle, okay? You will be able to get through this. Set your intention for whether you feel like card 1, 2, or 3. We'll have your message, and let me tune in. Okay, card 1. Wholeness. I am complete, whole, and filled with love. I have everything I need. If I ask or look for more, I'm ignoring the love and gifts that are already in my life. Instead, I'll be grateful and acknowledge that anything else would be extra icing. FYI to whoever's listening, extra icing is totally welcome, as it's obviously the most delicious part on life's cake. So I feel like that's what you're getting now. Going after that icing. Card 2... Yeah, it's like you've had your cake with the 10 of Cups in reverse and the Fool. It's like you've had your cake, but if you eat it yet, now's the journey to move on to get that 10 upright. Card 2, Harmony. I know in my heart that when something is right, it feels easy and breezy, even though it sounds cheesy. With this in mind, I banish all stress, insecurity, and tedious work from my relationships. And then I invite harmonious relationships into my life and let them show up on their own time. Easy breezy things are rarely punctual. So there's a sense to where that thing that you thought was going to be, like I said at the start about being on a trajectory, that you thought that was just going to be, that was going to be it. Like maybe you realized that it was not maintainable, sustainable, because of how much work it was really taking and how much energy it was really taking. And there's a sense to where there was like, it feels like, so this is going to be my life. And then you go, this can't be my life, if that makes any sense. So that's more in the breakup column. Card 3, Levity. Laughter is the best legal medicine, and it looks like it's time for you to take a sweet, sweet hit of it. When someone annoys you or a plan goes awry, try finding something funny in there. And if you ever feel like the butt of the joke, remember that the only difference between someone laughing at you and someone laughing with you is that in the first version, you're not laughing. You always have the option, so opt to lighten up. It's legal in almost 200 countries. And the fool sometimes is depicted as like someone youthful just taking off on a journey, but it's often got this kind of like jester costume on, so there is a sense of levity in that fool card energy. All right, guys, like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff, and I'll talk to you next Saturday. Thank you. Okay, if you chose stack 3 or chose the Badger, your supporting energy this week is Lady's Mantle, Magic. Okay, you have the Magician in reverse. That's interesting. The Knight of Swords in reverse. And Strength in reverse. Okay. Actually, I love the synchronicity of the Magician in reverse with magic, because it's like, that means that you will be creating not by pulling from external sources, but pulling from within for your materials, as your source materials. And so I want to caution you that any external input or dependence on validation will be detrimental to the process at this time. Okay, so it's also interesting with the Strength card and this Lady's Mantle. This is sometimes referred to as bear's foot or lion's foot, partially because of the shape of the leaf there. But lions and bears are often, in fact, there you go, see there's a lion, depicted in the Strength imagery and symbology, because it represents primal drives and protective instincts like the lion and the bear. So I feel like you will be fiercely protective of yourself at this time, and you'll have to trust that you are supported without constant reassurance. With this Knight of Swords in reverse is like, you're not going to be getting, or nor should you be seeking, that external reassurance. So how is this a love reading? I feel like it is saying that this is a week of boundary setting, which is essential to a healthy relationship. I feel like not every love reading will be, you meet someone new and you fall in love, or you will break up. It's not always, there's not always coming and going. There's the, when you're in a relationship, how do you navigate it? Or if you're wanting to call love in, who do you need to be and what do you need to do for yourself to be that magnet and to find what you're looking for? No, I'm not going to tell you that it's just going to show up for you, because then you won't do what you need to do, and then it won't happen, and then I'm wrong or whatever. So, some love readings are about how you can love yourself so that you can safeguard your relationship against codependency, and that's what I feel like is happening here. These cards are all about you and what you are building, creating, and healing, and about not being on anyone else's pedestal. This is showing your ferocity of strength, showing your ferocity of independence, and it is making you undeniably attractive to a healthy person or partner. All right, go ahead and set your intention for you feel like card 1, 2, or 3. We'll have a message for you, and let me tune in. Card 1. Celebration. When I come across people in happy, healthy relationships, I give jealousy the finger and celebrate their joy. When I do so, I'm rooting for the good guys, which means that I'm a good guy, and that means all of us win. Who wants to celebrate? Card 2. No scorekeeping. I cut ties with past conflicts and make my personal life a clean, shiny slate. Beginning this moment, everything is new. When an old grievance repeats itself in my head, I introduce it to my new head tenets, tolerance and equanimity. When I give it its stupid t-shirts and records back and tell it to leave. Card 3. rest. I take a step away from my stress, and then a deep breath, and then a crankiness-killing nap. When I get the rest I need, I instantly become a better version of myself, able to navigate complex relationships in a single bound. When I don't, I'm not, which means I shouldn't. But I try to, and then we can't. And it doesn't. But I should, so it wasn't. Ugh. Good night. Take care of yourself this week, okay? Like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff, and I'll talk to you next Saturday. Thank you.